So now let's talk about GL accounts, account groups, and QuickStart categories. So first we're going to navigate to General Ledger, All, and we're going to go to the General Ledger Accounts area. So I've got a sample list here of all of my General Ledger accounts in my system. And note, I've got inactive and private buttons up here as well. So if I've added a General Ledger account at the entity level, so if I've been in one of these entities, then went to this screen and added an account, it would be considered private. Okay, so don't forget to maybe check these as well. I also have made a custom view called COA Details that lists out my QuickStart category and some other columns here that I would like to see. So I've got my normal balance, debit, credit, and my non-closing or closing type. Okay, so we're going to go into some requirements on the General Ledger accounts and some best practices when you're adding General Ledger accounts. So I'm going to edit one of these here. So I'm going to edit the employee advances. And note for the construction edition of Sage Intacct that the 5-digit numbering structure is required. Okay, we're going to have a title. So this is the name of the account. We're going to pick a QuickStart category here. So this is going to map to the account groups. So QuickStart categories are not the account group, but they map it to the account group. So a lot of them, if not all of them, have the exact name as the account group. Okay, so I'm going to show that here in a minute. So you're going to pick something that categorizes the account into a proper account group using this QuickStart category. Then you're going to pick your account type, balance sheet or income statement. And is it a debit or credit normal balance? And then is it a closing account, meaning an income statement account, or is it a non-closing account, meaning it's a balance sheet account? So closing to retained earnings or not closing to retained earnings. And then you're going to pick your retained earnings account if it is a closing account. So once I pick closing, I then can pick my retained earnings account. Okay, if it's a closing account. And then revert this back. And then we do not use GL account alternatives. Status is going to be active unless you want to inactivate it. If you want to do a control account like AR or AP, for example, you might disallow direct posting. So that would mean you cannot make journal entries to this account. If you want to require dimensions on your accounts, you can do that here as well. So a good best practice would be if you need to have a departmental P&L, you could require departments on all of the income statement accounts. You could also require projects on all of your cost of goods sold accounts, or your billings account, or your costs in excess, your billings in excess accounts. You know, if you want to make some requirements here for project, that might be a good one to have as well. So project cost code cost type would also be a good combination on your cost of goods sold accounts if you're going to want that requirement for anything that hits cost of goods sold labor, cost of goods sold material. If you want all of those entries to have project cost code and cost type, that would be a good combination to do as well. So best practice, we like to see everything in those accounts coded to project cost code and cost type. And then you're going to hit save. Notice there's also a duplicate button if you would like to use the duplicate function. And then it's going to bring you back to the screen. As a best practice before you go live, you do not want to turn on too many requirements. So I've got some requirements turned on for location and department and my disallowed direct posting. So before you go live, you may not want to turn on the department or the control account. So disallow direct posting is similar to a control account setting. Location you might have on because you do want to have a location/entity. Remember, these are the same field. Location and entity, you do want to have on all of your entries. Okay, so that's not a bad one to have on right out of the gate. You will want to turn these on after you go live if you want to not have import issues with your general ledger balances. Now, if you want departmental, P&L, departmental balance sheet potentially, usually it's only done on the P&L level, you would want to test that before you bring in balances or have that on before you bring in balances. So it's up to you, but we generally don't like to turn them on right out of the gate, but that is up to you if you would like to have those on and make sure your balances come in with departments on them correctly, okay? So now let's navigate over to account groups. So I'm going to duplicate this tab up here. And we're going to navigate to General Ledger. And we're going to navigate here to account groups. Okay, so let's use cash and cash equivalents. So an account group is going to be used on your financial statements. So my cash and cash equivalents is going to show as a heading on my balance sheet, for example, and then I'm going to either expand or collapse on that balance sheet. If I expand, it's going to list then all these accounts and then have a total for cash and cash equivalents. So when I am setting up my general ledger account, for example, when I set up this 10,000 general checking account, I picked cash and cash equivalents QuickStart category. So category here means QuickStart category. That then maps to the account group cash and cash equivalents. So when I drill into the cash and cash equivalents, I see here an edit button. And I can see how this is made up. So I've got an end of period calculation method, a for period, and a start of period. I've got a normal balance, debit balance as well. Okay, so this account group is based on QuickStart categories using the end of the period, like a balance sheet would, and they have debit balances in this account group. Okay, so I do not want to put a liability type account in this account group because it will treat it as a normal debit balance and my financial statement will not sum up or foot correctly. So everything in this account group has to have a normal balance of a debit balance. So I'm using the QuickStart category, cash and cash equivalents, because I'm using structure type category. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the GL account, 10,000 general checking over here. And we're going to scroll up to the top. And I'm going to edit that account so you can see the QuickStart category, cash and cash equivalents, which is mapped to the account group, cash and cash equivalents. Hitting the hierarchy button here does give you the drill in all the way to the account level and what makes up that account group in the normal balance calculation method and the QuickStart category. So let me show you how it works on the financial statements to tie it all together. Okay, so I'm going to navigate to financial reports. And we're going to edit the balance sheet detail here. And I'm going to come here to the rows. And you can see I've got my cash and cash equivalents account group listed here. Okay, now notice it's underneath current assets, which is underneath assets. So my cash and cash equivalents is a sub account group of assets. So in my structure, of my QuickStart categories and my account groups, I have my assets as a top level account group. It's called a group of account groups. When I hit the hierarchy button, this specific account group assets is the top account group. Current assets is the sub or child account group. And then I have cash and cash equivalents, short-term investments. I've got accounts receivable. I've got inventory. So you can tell by the indent what it is underneath. Okay, so accounts receivable and allowance for doubtful accounts are a sub account group of accounts receivable net of allowance, for example. So I'm going to click on assets here, and I'm going to click on edit, and you can see the account group type is group of account groups and not category, or not just an account group. So group of account groups, account groups. So I've got multiple ones listed here. Okay, now my current assets is going to be the same thing. It's going to have group of account groups, because underneath my current assets, I also have some more account groups. Okay, so group of account groups again, hit the hierarchy button, and I'm going to have my cash and cash equivalents, my AR, my investments, etc. So that is how account groups work, how GL accounts are tied with the QuickStart category to account groups, how groups of account groups work, and how they are used on the financial statement. Now, account groups can also be used for calculations for performance cards. So I'm going to go to a computation account group. And if these seem familiar, these are ratios on performance cards on dashboards. So if we go into one here, let's go into one called current ratio. So we can see that the structure type is a computation account group. And down here in the computation formula, I'm telling it what to do. So use my account group current assets, divide it by, and you can do different operators, current liabilities. How many decimal places? What is it? Is it a number? And then you could also put something here like square foot for a unit, if that's what it is. So you can see right here the example it's giving. So this is a dollar, or this is a ratio, excuse me, it's a number. So we're not going to put any sort of unit down here. Okay. Down here you have some report filters you could use as well, but we generally don't use these a whole lot. But you could do a specific location or department ratio if you wanted to. I would just make sure you name the ratio what it is doing. So current ratio for location E100, for example. Okay. Now, note that the debit balance up here is showing, but really this is a ratio calc, so that shouldn't come into play too much here with the ratio calculations. Okay. So you've got the computation structure type. Click the little arrow here. It also tells you some more here on what you can do with structure types and calculation methods. Okay. All right, so we're going to cancel this. And we're going to go into a dashboard. And we're going to look at some financial ratios just to tie this all together. So I've created the current ratio account group, computation account group. So when I look at this component, and remember to add a component, you're going to click the plus sign. And we're going to pick performance card. That's what these are. And I'm going to name this current ratio. I'm not going to save it because it's already on there. But you're going to pick the computation account group called current ratio. That is how you tie a computation account group to a performance card on dashboards.